Pope Leo is shaking up the Curia with new rules. He also just got back from his first papal trip in Turkey and Lebanon, and a new museum about the Shroud of Turin just opened up in California. All this and more brought to you today by Church Headlines. Hello and welcome to Church Headlines, your regular Catholic news recap. I'm Brother Darius Lawrence. Let's dive right in. In Rome, Pope Leo XIV has launched one of the biggest internal reforms the Curia has seen in years. On November 24th, the Pope signed two major regulatory texts, the General Regulation of the Roman Curia and the Personnel Regulation, launching what amounts to a full-scale internal reform of Vatican administration, and there is a lot packed in it. The Vatican is getting a total IT rehaul. For the first time ever, Vatican offices will be required to use certified IT systems, digital archives, controlled destruction protocols, and access logs. For an institution famed for paper and tradition, this is a big deal. A minimum 36-hour workweek is now mandated for all curial institutions, and the Secretary of State will convene regular meetings to harmonize activities across the different departments. A push to make the Curia operate more like a unified service body, not a group of semi-independent offices. The documents also take direct aim at nepotism, which of course has a long tradition in Italian culture. Under the new rules, no office may employ close relatives of current staff, and recruitment is restricted to candidates whose professional competence is matched by a living commitment to the Catholic faith and morals. These reforms are designed to bring greater transparency, accountability, and a more modern organizational culture, all while emphasizing that curial work is still an ecclesial mission, not a mere bureaucratic job. From November 27th to December the 2nd, Pope Leo XIV embarked on his first apostolic journey abroad, visiting Türkiye and Lebanon, a trip packed with symbolic, historic, and pastoral significance. He arrived in Ankara, where he visited Ataturk's mausoleum and met President Erdogan, civil authorities, and the diplomatic corps. Pope Leo told reporters that the talks with President Erdogan focused significantly on the crises in Gaza and the Ukraine. He emphasized Türkiye's potential role in peace efforts, pointing out that Türkiye stands at a crossroads of East and West, a bridge between cultures. The next day, he commemorated the 1700th anniversary of the First Council of Nicaea with a pilgrimage to Iznik, which is where ancient Nicaea used to be. The Council of Nicaea in the year 325 was one of the most important church councils in church history. It fought against the Arian heresy, which denied that Jesus was really God. Pope Leo prayed there with the Patriarch Bartholomew I, the head of the Greek Orthodox Church, offering a powerful sign of unity among Christians. The next day we saw one of the most visually striking moments of the trip. Pope Leo XIV visited the Sultan Ahmed Mosque in Istanbul, a gesture of deep respect towards the Muslim world and a concrete demonstration of interreligious fraternity. Later in the day, the Pope, together with Bartholomew I, spoke out with a sobering message. The world is facing alarming tensions, with wars, social instability, and moral crises threatening global peace. The Pope warned that humanity risks being dragged into what he called a piecemeal world war unless nations commit seriously to justice, dialogue, and solidarity. After spending a few days in Türkiye, the Pope traveled to Lebanon, where he met with President Joseph Aoun and the Prime Minister Nawal Salam, as well as other civil authorities. Later, he visited the tomb of Saint Charbel in Anaya, a saint revered by Lebanese Christians and Muslims alike. The Pope entrusted Lebanon to Saint Charbel's intercession, sending a powerful message of unity and hope for nations suffering under economic collapse, sectarian tensions, and regional conflict. The Pope returned to Rome on December the 2nd, ending his first apostolic trip. Hello everybody, Brother Darius here. I'm here in the studio. This is where the magic happens. So Christmas is around the corner, and the brothers and I would like to ask you if you could please keep us in your prayers. We founded this channel about 6 months ago, and it's been a real blessing to see how quickly it's grown. There's so much good that the church is doing throughout the world, and we'd like to get the message out to as many people as possible. But to be honest as well, it's also been a huge investment of time, and as seminarians, obviously we have our studies and so many other things that we need to be doing to prepare ourselves for the priesthood. So we've been hoping maybe to start outsourcing at least some of the editing and the uploading to a third party. And also the computer we've been using really wasn't meant for video editing, so it's been crashing sometimes during the editing process. So we're looking to get a new computer as well. And of course, all those things cost money. So if you've been enjoying our videos and you'd like to support us so we can continue making these videos, we'd like to ask you maybe to consider sending a donation. There's a link down in the description where you can send a tax-deductible donation. It goes straight to our seminary, 100% comes here to our seminary in Rome, where we can then reinvest it in the channel. Thank you so much, and God bless. In the city of Crato, Brazil, a new 54-meter statue of Our Lady of Fátima was unveiled on November the 13th, becoming the tallest monument in the world dedicated to her. For those in the US, 54 meters is about 177 feet, so it's basically the height of a 15-story building. Blessed during a Marian Jubilee closing Mass, the statue is now drawing pilgrims and believers from all over and is a towering symbol of faith, hope, and Marian devotion at the heart of Brazilian Catholicism. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops just approved revised ethical and religious directives forbidding Catholic hospitals hospitals across the U.S. from performing gender reassignment surgeries or any interventions aimed at altering a person's sexual characteristics. This decision is important because Catholic healthcare institutions form one of the largest hospital networks in the U.S., serving millions of patients every year. The new policy underscores the Church's commitment to its understanding of the body's natural order and to the Hippocratic Oath to help and not harm when doing medical interventions. In a rather surprising moment, the famous rapper Nicki Minaj recently addressed the United Nations to draw urgent global attention to violence and persecution targeting Christians in Nigeria. Her message was clear and powerful. Religious freedom matters for everyone, and the world must not ignore suffering simply because it happens far away. Her voice, which was somewhat unexpected but very welcome, is rallying people from many backgrounds to care about those whose worship and lives are under threat. A brand new museum dedicated entirely to the Shroud of Turin has opened up in Garden Grove, California, offering visitors a chance to engage with one of Catholicism's most revered relics. I don't know if you know this, but it's also the world's most scientifically studied object. The museum is a collaboration between Papal Studios, the Diocese of Orange, and Athonian Inc., a research initiative connected to my university, the Pontifical Athenaeum Regina Apostolorum. Inside, visitors are greeted with multimedia projection theaters, themed galleries, life-size reproductions, and interactive displays that guide them through the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus as reflected in the Shroud. The experience aims to engage not only believers, but anyone curious about Christianity's mysteries, encouraging visitors to ask themselves, who is the man on the Shroud? You may have noticed that over the summer, global audiences were buzzing about K-pop thanks to the success of the Netflix film K-pop Demon Hunters. But have you ever heard of K-faith? My friend, Brother Andrew Kong, believes that Korean culture has a lot to offer the church through what he calls K-faith, and he's looking forward to sharing K-faith with fellow Christians at the upcoming World Youth Day in Seoul, Korea. On Instagram, Brother Andrew has been blending elements of contemporary Korean culture, from K-pop to K-drama, with the Catholic faith, as a creative attempt to bring the gospel to a new generation. Some might view popular Korean culture as highly secular, but Brother Andrew believes that K-culture is ultimately looking for beauty, order, and harmony, and we know that God in his core is beauty and harmony himself. And that wraps up this week's edition of Church Headlines. Thank you for joining us, and God bless.